My name is Steph, and this is the Dead Man Walking Podcast.
My dad's from Foggia, which is in Le Puglie. Exactly. It's nice. It's fucking nice, man. I don't know why my grandparents came to the ice and snow. I always tell them, but it was the war, obviously.
Yeah, they're like,
But
this ice is
they're like, but what the fuck do you know? Why do?
Out of all the places, though, you decide to go to tundra.
Yeah, exactly.
There's two boats that went. One went to America and Canada.
Yeah.
And the other one's fucking Australia.
Australia, I think there was Argentina too.
Yeah, Argentina. My great-grandfather left to Argentina, but
No way.
yeah, he left saying,
back?
I'm going for work. He never came back.
Oh, he never came back.
Started a whole other family. He said,
No.
fuck this. But
So he was here or in Italy?
he was in Italy. This is like 19... My grandfather...
Yeah.
Which he passed away. He was 96, I think, and he was like 10 years old when that happened.
No way.
Yeah. So it's a while ago. Like, but definitely like, there was all like 3 boats: Canada,
Jesus.
U.S., Argentina, Australia.
That's it.
And
The
it feels
choices
like,
were few and far between. You had 3 options.
and it
That's
feels like the ones that went to Australia just didn't like their family. They said,
Right.
"Fuck it, I'm going the complete opposite
Yeah.
direction, different time
I'm
zone."
going to the bottom of the globe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look, Mike, man, thanks for coming on the show. I'm
Thank
happy
you for
you're
the
here.
invite. Very happy to be here, man.
Yeah, man. And first things first. I always check, like, let's say the day that someone comes,
Yeah.
and I check to see like what's the story or whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw eggs, and then I saw chickens, straight real chickens happening. So what the fuck is going on over here?
I have a mini farm at my house, bro.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, of course. It's,
What prompted the farm?
I was brought up that way, man.
Okay.
Like my grandparents in Italy were farmers. They had crazy swaths of land, like thousands of acres, bro. Full on, production. And it's something that was very important to them when they came here. So they always taught us to do that. And they taught my father and my mom as well. And so my father continued, and he always instilled that from a young age in me. He had me, help him out since I was a little kid. And it was just something that for me, when I came of age and I got my own place, I started my own family, I didn't even think about it. It's like, where's the garden going? Like, okay, we have to find a spot. Like you have to have it, kind of thing.
Well, it's funny because at one point when I was younger, I wanted like nothing to do with that. I was like, fuck this. I want to always be in the city, just whatever. Fuck the idea of outdoor space. I remember even when I think of my old condos that I had, one of them didn't even have a gallery to go outside. It was like, when I think about it now, to not be able to sit outside,
Yeah.
it's like wild. Like now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you have the space, like even though I'm living here and it's not huge, not a huge garden, but like the backyard has a green vibe to it. There's like, you want to hang out outside. You want to be outside. Like I was saying, the electricity the other day, they cut the electricity. And for a second I was like a bit of a freedom, there was nothing to do, but just work outside.
Yeah. There's a peace too.
There's a
with it.
piece to it, dude, that you just disconnect completely. And
It's palpable. Like you can feel something in your body. For me, anyways, it's this calm, this sense of calm that I feel almost physically.
but so, okay. So what's the process like having fucking chickens in the house though? Like not in the house, obviously in the backyard.
Yeah, I have a chicken coop. I have like an old cabanon that
Okay.
I insulated and I turned into a chicken coop. So they have it's like a chicken condo. I have 6. I could fit like 20 of them in there.
Holy shit.
That's how big it is. So they're real comfortable. They're out of our legs. They're out of our way. Behind their chicken coop, there's that little small door you saw.
Yeah.
And behind there's this whole area for them where it's like caged.
Yeah.
They just
So the
live
free
and chill.
range.
Free range fully. And what it's like taking care of them is just like a daily chore twice a day. In the morning I go in and then at night I go in. And
It's amazing.
it's very grounding and it's something that feels very natural and aside from grounding, it's just one of those things that's calming and wholesome. I think that's
Yeah.
the word I was looking for.
There's something about
Yeah.
that, like when you garden and when you do shit like this. Like I know we sound, someone that's this is like, what the fuck is happening over
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
I thought he was a music producer. It sounds like I gotta.
It's probably rare. I don't know. I think it's gaining speed these days. It's becoming more popular.
Well, I was saying to someone, I think the biggest thing that people are looking for mostly nowadays is some sense of like, just I need to relax a bit. I
Yeah.
need to have some clear, some time for like a clear mind. Because if not, scrolling all day and being in front of a screen all day, at a certain point, it has an impact
Yeah.
where you, even if you did nothing physically, you are extremely drained at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
And your
Oh,
brain
yeah.
is like, it's foggy. It
Mm-hmm.
feels foggy with all the screens and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing now, like when I don't get at least like 30 minutes of like exercise
Yeah.
or something outside, just fucking movement,
Yeah, dude.
my body and my mind more than my body fucking ass, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It makes a big difference
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be outside, to get that time outside.
But now, so okay, we spoke about the being outside and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But you caught my attention because you were a fan of the show, so you connected.
Totally.
But then I find out we know like pretty much like 1,000 people.
Yeah, yeah.
We were dropping
a lot
names
of
to each
people.
other. We were dropping names to each other, and it was, oh yeah, I know him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
worked with him. Oh yeah, he's a friend of mine for 20 years. All this stuff's like
Yeah.
like Dan, like Dave, all these guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what's the story? I see you're doing like a bunch of things. There's the Floating Heads, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So that's what, a production company? It's
Production
a
duo.
production duo.
Me and my good friend Matt Gillis.
Okay.
We've been making music together for like 22 years now.
Wow.
We started young, like we started at 14. So that's him and I used to have bands together. We were signed to a couple major labels, and we did the band life, the touring, all that shit for like a good 10, 12 years.
What was the name of the band?
It was MTL.
Okay.
So it was an acronym for Made Them Lions.
Okay.
And we started a production duo after the band broke up,
Okay.
which was, I think, 2014, 2015. We
What
started our
happened?
duo.
If you could talk about it. I don't know.
Nothing really happened, to be honest. Like our record deal basically ran out, right? Like it was a 7-year deal, and the 7 years were up. We didn't renew. The guys didn't want to. A lot of the guys were like, "Look, I want stability. I'm tired of touring. You know, I want to start a family."
How'd you take that at the time?
It was hard, man.
I could imagine.
I took it pretty hard. Like that's why I started smoking weed heavy. To be honest with you, I was kind of coping with it because I lost a family, man.
It does feel like that. I know,
Yeah.
even for on my end, and I didn't even get to that level.
Yeah,
When the band broke up, it was kind of like the family, like it was divorce,
yeah,
and it's hard at the beginning because you're like, you see these guys constantly.
yeah,
You're working together. You have this like thing together. It's like a
Yeah.
gang together
yeah. You're with them every day.
every fucking day, and you're laughing about shit. You're pissed at each other, but you come back and you hug it out, and then you play gigs. You have amazing moments, and
We
then
had
when it
a
ends,
lot
dude,
of
it's
amazing
tough.
moments. It's tough, dude. Like we were really close. We really got along too. There weren't many bad moments, to be honest. You know, and
Yeah.
through the years, we had several different lineups, several different bands as we were coming up, and this lineup was my favorite one with the people I was closest with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what made it harder too, was to lose a very close knit group of close friends, and I didn't expect it to be that hard. You know, I remember a couple of the guys were like, "Look, I'm gonna go my own way. I'm getting a job at Air Canada. I'm gonna start managing a restaurant, blah blah blah." And I was cool with it. I was like, "Okay, great. Me and Matt, we're gonna start this production company and whatever." And I thought I was gonna be okay with it, but dude, I felt so isolated after that.
Yeah, it's part of your identity for so long too.
Yeah,
And like for me, it was, I didn't see a life after music. Like it was kind of like, and music, when I thought of music as a band.
yeah,
So once the band ended, I was kind of like, well, what do I do now? Like I'm kind of like, I didn't realize
yeah,
how lost I was
yeah,
at that point. And then it was kind of like, oh, fuck, life is long. Life is long.
that's an important realization.
Life is long. So if you don't figure this out sooner than later, it's just gonna feel longer and heavier and harder and tougher to like wake up to want to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I felt. I remember at a certain, well, it was funny. I kind of went into hardcore like work. When the band broke up, I became obsessed with like a whole other world. I was almost like, it was like a breakup. I was pissed at the band.
I actually did that too.
I wasn't pissed at the band. I was pissed at the disappointment
Yeah,
that the band didn't work out.
yeah,
And with that, it was like, okay, well, let me dive into work because I'm getting like some sort of value, I guess, out of this.
What was your band, by the way?
The band was called Sin Silver.
Okay.
You know, so it's funny.
I've heard of this band.
It could be. I know.
Yes.
I know Dan liked this, so maybe he dropped
Could be.
a few songs your way. But I remember. So there was a guy. The band was doing relatively well, starting to pick up, and then I remember one of the band members, our drummer, he's like, I think I'm gonna go to cooking school or something, you know.
Okay.
And I remember I just looked. I said, "You go to cooking school." Ends up being
You weren't
Danny Smiles,
expecting
bro.
it.
He's like one of the biggest chefs now, you know.
Danny Smiles was in your band.
So I remember when he said that, I laughed because I was like, bro, you're gonna leave for cooking school? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
I didn't see that coming. And then all he has like
couldn't
the
see-
top restaurant in Montreal now. He's on fire. He's been
Couldn't
killing
see
it
the
for like,
future, of course.
you know. But
Holy shit.
But what I appreciated is
Maybe
that
I
he
should go
knew-
to cooking school.
yeah.
too, you know?
But when I think about it now, it's like he knew that like he liked the band, but he saw something in cooking,
Yeah.
and I think that was being more open to ideas. I think when I was younger, it was so fucking gun hole on an idea.
Yeah.
So when it didn't work out, I was really kind of
Yeah.
bummed, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
I completely resonate with
Yeah.
that feeling of when the band breaks up. You're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck do I do?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I thought I would be cool with it, but obviously it's any relationship with someone that you really care about, ending it is gonna take a toll on you, whether you like it or not, or want to accept it or not. I don't think I wanted to believe it. I was like, nah, it's okay. But like you, I dove into work to keep myself busy, and I pretty much built a house for about a year and a half straight. The house that I live in.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing. Like half the shit I'd never done.
You see, there's no roof.
Yeah. It was a learning curve for sure.
Dude, I would have like I can think about it because I put up a fucking frame. It takes me an hour. I suck.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I could do. I'm good at manual work, but I'm better as being like the follower. Tell me what to do, and I'll do the work.
Yeah.
But to actually like think of the process of putting it together, I can't even imagine it.
YouTube, man.
Fuck, bro, YouTube saved my
Anything.
chalet.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it wasn't for the for YouTube videos, impossible to
Yeah,
chalet.
of course. I don't know how people did it in the 80s. Like you had to buy VHS tapes from Bob Vila or something to learn the basic things. But no, YouTube's just like a godsend. Like literally anything any question you have.
Yeah. How
YouTube's
to,
got-
and then boom, ask your question.
yeah, detailed videos pop up, many of them.
Hi, I'm Bob from home building in Vermont. It's always like some random
Yeah,
state
yeah.
or whatever. He's like, so
yeah.
follow me. I'm going to show you how to build a house. And you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
fuck it. This guy is showing me how to build a house.
Yeah.
But
No, it was
but why build it? Why not like, what was it about the concept of building that?
well, I mean, it was also out of necessity too, because I didn't have that much money to hire people to do everything, which, it's very expensive if you're going to hire contractors to do an A to Z, like clé en main. So like, I didn't have that kind of money. So me and my wife had saved up for years, sacrificed a lot. We scrounged whatever we could. So that's mainly the reason, was like, we didn't have a choice. So
When you don't have a choice, usually it's like,
yeah.
I got to figure this out. YouTube every night, figuring
Yeah.
out how to fucking do this.
Yeah, it was sick though. It was such a cool experience, and it was very healing for me. It came at the right time, because
Because of the band?
of the band ending and that starting, and I think like the creator that the band ending left on my spirit. There was like this void.
Mm-hmm.
Building the house filled that with like this newfound confidence and this new belief in myself that I was doing new things that I didn't think I could have done, or that I had never done. And that was very important for me at that time. I needed that. Like I needed some wins in my life to lift me up,
Dude, the wins, people, I completely understand that, and every win is not a huge win. Like there's these little things, like even just completing these small things, you start realizing like, I'm coming back. It's like you're coming back to life almost.
For sure.
Every little win. So I can't even imagine building a fucking house.
Yeah.
As a win mentally, to know that you built your own fucking house
Yeah.
is huge.
And it's a quiet win because nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
It's just for you. It's just kind of like you prove to yourself, like I could do it. Whatever I put my mind to, even though it's going to be really long and arduous and painful and
Yeah.
a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, literally, I can do it.
You decide to go build a house after the band breaks up.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big fucking task.
Yeah.
Then how did it? So what was happening? What kind of drove you back
To music.
to music at this point? Because I know for me, I walked away from it. I was like, I was so pissed. I was so
I
disappointed
walked
in
away
it.
from it too.
For a long time, I was like, I didn't want to deal with this. It was like a bad breakup. I didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Me too, bro.
And now I see
I didn't even
myself
want to listen to music. I was
yeah.
like rejecting everything music.
totally
Yeah.
rejecting. Like I barely picked up my guitar. Even the music, I almost stopped listening to like rock music. I was just annoyed with rock music.
Me too.
I was annoyed with all music.
It's funny, man. I had the same exact thing. Like I don't know what that is, but I lived
I think
it.
it's you're in pain, bro. And
Yeah.
like so every time when you hear something, you're just pissed. Like you don't even realize it's like a quiet anger
Yeah.
that people don't realize that because I felt it was the dream that didn't come true.
Mm-hmm.
And then so in my perspective is that means everything's a nightmare. If the dream doesn't come true, then that means every day is like this kind of mini nightmare of a life that could have been like I and didn't stay forever, because then it kind of just got buried. But when I look back now at those years, I noticed that there's unhealthy, like eating like shit all the time, smoking a lot of weed, definitely, like partying more to distract myself. So I noticed that there was a lot of those things happening. And then slowly, kind of like, as the years go by, you realize that there's this creative side that just can't die either. Like, it has to come out somehow. It maybe music wasn't the avenue, but it has to come out another way.
Yeah, I was pulled back in.
Okay, what happened?
Unexpectedly. I got a call from La Voix out of nowhere.
Oh, you were telling me a bit of that. Huh?
Yeah, and I had pretty much given up. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm building a house. I'm gonna go into construction full time because I have experience.
Yeah, no, I built the fucking house.
And that's it. And I had a bunch of people like that came over and they're like, oh my God, this is so nice. Can you come do my kitchen? Can you do my this? Can you do my... And I had started actually, like I at that time I had done someone else's entire basement of their triplex.
Wow.
From A to Z. I did it by myself. So I was out, you know, this was like that year and a half.
How did it feel to go completely out of it though? To be working in that environment?
It felt
Because I have
good
that
most
feeling
of the time.
sometimes. I have the feeling like, fuck, why don't I just go fucking learn how to do this and not have to deal with this stuff?
So there's a duality with that. Most of the time it feels great, but then there's also this internalized, for me anyways, like this, I don't want to say a depression, but this terrible angst of like, what could have been if I kept going, you know, like
the regret.
Yeah, I guess that's what it must be, the regret. But it felt great though, like you know, I felt free from the hassle of trying to achieve this massive goal, you know, trying to make it and do, like, it's a lot of work and you really have to put your mind to it, and it's not for everyone to be an entrepreneur and to really bust as much as you need to get to a successful point as an entrepreneur in any field. I think is a lot harder than, you know, a regular style
An employee
employment. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I find music and entrepreneur, they're very similar in a sense, because you're building these things. But the one thing that I feel with like the construction side or just something working with your hands is at the end of the day you see something completed.
Yeah.
And there's this weird accomplishment no matter what, no matter how shitty the day was. If you had to finish the floors today, you finish them. You know, it's like, doesn't matter what happened, doesn't like the views or the likes or the downloads or the streams,
you're free
doesn't
from all
fucking
of that.
matter.
You're free from
the
all
floor
of
is
it.
done, you know what I mean? And that's the part that I notice at the end of every day whenever I do manual work. I think of my days when I used to work at a restaurant when I was younger. It was like, I always felt good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I never felt like it was a wasted day. It was like, okay, maybe I could have done more in life, whatever. But in that day, I actually felt like I completed something today.
Yeah. You know, for me, a big part of the angst or the regret, even though it was extremely rewarding, like you're describing, because it definitely was, all the physical stuff, like you said, I also feel that way. I do something, even if it's a small thing, like I literally cut the grass the other day and I was like,
I know, you look fucking nice grass.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, like beautiful. I love it. You know, you get all this satisfaction from little things, but the big regret came from the high that I used to have with the band, because we did have a lot of success during our 10, 12 years. Like, we were out there touring with Simple Plan, Sean Paul, fucking B.O.B.
It's a mind fuck, dude, to go from that life. Okay, let's maybe take a step back.
Yeah.
When you were starting the band, or when you were finally seeing that success, what was the thought process at that point in your life? If you could kind of go back to that, and what was the vision that you were seeing?
The vision I was seeing, I think for me, the making music, like the writing part of it, was always my favorite part. I get so excited about good melodies, good lyrics, a great set of chords with an amazing song. For me, is like, it's part of like who I am. There's this deep-seated need for me to create awesome stuff and get that satisfaction that I get. So that was always the main thing, like at the forefront of my mind, was like, being in the band means I get to write every day, all day, and make amazing music. That for me was the dream. Like, I get to do this every day. I'm happy. But then obviously, like, you're touring, you have songs on the radio. We had hits on the radio. We had, at the time, there was music videos still on TV. There was like MTV Music Plus, all this stuff. So we had like #1 videos out there. And
It's wild.
I mean,
What was the name of the band again?
MTL.
MTL.
MTL, acronym for Made Them Lions. And dude, like, the satisfaction, the high you get from that is a whole other beast.
Well,
Like,
I had a few guys that had similar kind of like where they had big tours and then they came back like Dom, Sfarelli,
Schifferelli, yeah.
and he told me it was a big.
I know Dom too, actually.
Yeah, Dom's fucking amazing.
That guy's known me since I started music when I was like 16 or 17.
It's wild. The community here on the music side, like the guys that branched out and really started touring and doing stuff like that, they all know each other.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone, and
Yeah.
and you look at it because it wasn't a lot of guys that were going out and breaking through the Montreal scene and kind of going
Yeah.
US and all that stuff. But I remember, Dom telling me too, like when he got back, it was kind of like even Dave, on the tours and stuff like that, when he comes back from the Damn True tours, it's kind of like you go back to like a regular life. That's a mind fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like to go from on stage, we went small stages, nothing
Mhm.
big, and it was a mind fuck coming back to reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? On your end, seeing all that success at a certain point,
Yeah.
how you feeling? You must feel like, oh, we hit it. Like we made it.
Oh man, like we had done a show for 60,000 people at le Festival des Montgolfières
Mm-hmm.
in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, which was one of the best experiences of my life.
I can't even imagine it.
It was beautiful. It was just, and I remember after that show, we got back in the studio, we started working on a new album. And I was really excited to work on this new album. So I kept myself busy and I didn't have it down after the show
Yeah.
because I was in the studio. But then after we were done recording, I really had nothing to do.
Mm.
And that's where I didn't know what to do with myself. And it's almost like this existential crisis. Even if you're off for like 3 weeks or a month, I'm like, shit, I don't know what to do with myself. And I find it's a roller coaster. You have like these big highs and you have these big lows.
Yeah.
When you're an artist and you're touring and you're having any kind of satisfaction, when the satisfaction is gone and you have that quiet period, it's hard to
Emptiness.
readjust.
Yeah. There's an emptiness there. There's
Yeah.
a feeling of what am I doing now?
So that, I mean, I don't have the answers, bro. I never really learned how to deal with it. I just
I'm built that fucking house.
Yeah. I just kept going, but it's, life's hard in general, right?
Well, that's the thing, right? And I think what's cool about the story is that you had that moment where you're like, holy fuck, what am I going to do? You shifted into another world. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it's coming back.
Yeah.
And I saw even a few years ago, there was a song that was, again, I think on 2017 or something like that. Like I saw on a post, like hit it like in the top 5 or top 10. And
Yeah, in
and then it-
2017, I had a #1 with my first solo single right after I did La Voix.
And okay, so maybe, yeah. So there was La Voix. Go back to La Voix. What ended up
Okay.
happening? We forgot about that part.
So they have, like, La Voix has these, they're called des recherchistes, and their job is to contact different singers that they think would be suitable for the show and ask them if they want to be part of the show. So they contacted me out of nowhere. And it felt like a sign or something. If
I was going to say, how did you take that call? Because you're like, I'm out of this now, right?
Dude, you have no idea how I didn't want to be out. Like I remember doing construction, and at the time I was even working part-time with a construction company with one of my friends. He's like, look, like you're pretty handy. Why don't you come work with us once in a while? We need help. So I remember he left me on like un chantier de construction all day by myself, and he's like, you got to do this whole fucking thing. He gave me all these tasks to do alone all day. I'll come back at the end of the day. It's got to be done. And I'll be totally transparent.
I did fuck all that.
No, I did my job, but I was alone, in this massive fucking warehouse, and I broke down. I had that moment. It was like that one moment in my life where I was like, all my dreams are over.
No.
And I had to kneel. I kneeled in the corner and I fucking cried for
Bro,
no reason, bro.
When that moment happens, it's a breakdown, dude. It's
Yeah.
like your brain just overflowed.
Yeah.
Like your whole body just hit this breaking point.
Yeah.
Everything just stops, and it's like, bah, everything comes out.
Didn't know it was going to happen. Didn't expect it. Didn't know why it was happening. It was just kind of like, I guess it was like you said, that breaking point. And weirdly enough, the next day, it was like a day or two later max,
Wow.
I get an email from La Voix, and they're like, we want you on the show. And I'm like, is this a joke? Like, is it?
That's fucking wild. The day after?
Yeah, I think it was like the day, 2 days.
Within that
but
week, yeah.
Very, very close to that. And it felt kind of like a sign. It felt maybe spiritual. It felt like...
If you go back to that moment, what were the thoughts that were going on in your head right before that break? Before that crack?
It was, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to spend like the next 30-something years busting my fucking ass doing construction. Holy fuck, that's scary. Like, it's hard work. It's really hard work. I think that was the main thing. And also that I don't know. It feels like when you can't do the things that you love and express yourself, and continue doing something that you dreamed about for so many years, that you put everything you had into. It's a form of like an imprisonment. It's mentally, it's like you're removed from that world and you're boxed into this job where you're going to do this monotonous hard shit every fucking day, and the rest of that world that you used to know and love is inaccessible to you. That was, I remember thinking, it was specifically like, holy shit, I'm gonna do this for like the next 30 something years every fuck. And I was like, how am I gonna do this?
That feeling, the best and worst thing you could ever have in your life is a dream.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the best and worst thing, because when you taste it to any extent,
Yeah.
it is like, I have a friend of mine. He was a baseball player. He made all, like, his friends are in the majors, or were in the majors,
Wow.
and now are part of ownerships of the Mets and stuff. Like,
Wow.
he played and he did all that stuff. And we've had this conversation many times of just when you dreamt of being an athlete, or you dreamt of being a musician, or you had this specific dream that was very fucking accurate. You know, like, you were precise in what you wanted to do, and it doesn't happen. That feeling after, of like, when you wake up and you're sitting on my side in an office, and you're staring at shit, and you're just like, oh man, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life and not have anything else but just this. It was same, like, I had a few of those those fucking breaking points in my life, but I remember that was one too, where it was just, it all hit together, and it was like, this is not how I saw life. But there was that idea of like, I gotta change this too, like,
Sure.
and so that call, at least you got a call that kind of
Yeah.
woke you back up
Exactly.
from the coma.
And I think it's an important point you make about being woken up from the coma, because it's okay to get in these periods where you get down. Everyone gets down, but it's also important to realize, like you said before, life is long. There's so many possibilities. You can start businesses. You study, get a new degree. Like, you're not confined to the
Exactly.
one thing. You're in control of your life. But in these low points,
It feels
who is aware of
oh,
that?
dude, it's and you feel so alone.
Yeah.
And as a guy too, just like from a guy's perspective, it's tough to even have a conversation, especially maybe even 10 years ago. It's very different than a conversation today.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like, dude, how many people would you have felt comfortable that day that you had that breakdown, let's say?
Bro, I never told anybody about that.
Well, now you told.
I told probably a lot of people, but
But I'm telling.
but today it's okay.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like 10 years,
It's,
even for me, when
it's kind of funny, but it is nice that today people are more open to this kind of thing,
and it's more common. Like,
Yeah.
then we don't. It's not as isolated.
I enjoy it. I think it feels good to be able to share and be open about things, and I think it's good for it's healthy.
Well, that's the thing too, dude. Like,
Yeah.
your break. I had something similar. The one that I remember was a fucking ugly one in
Yeah.
2015. I was
Yeah.
on my gallery, at my condo, and I had and all kinds of shit was going on, and there was just this like crossroad, like something just hit. It was that ugly fucking cry. I don't know what happened. Dude, my brain, I remember, was sitting on a gallery with my guitar. I smoked a fat joint. And then
Nice.
all of a sudden, like my brain just overflowed of way too many thoughts of what happened in my life. I'm not a musician. This failed. This happened. All these bad things. Like, it's like everything. Family was sick. Half the fucking it was like all these things coming together. And I felt so like alone at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, is this going to be the rest of my fucking life? Like, it was a really like,
Yeah.
and when that exploded, but then funny enough, after that day, I was like, it's that ugly cry, all that shit. It was like, it finally came out. And then there was like something again, like that week too. I don't remember what had happened, but I just started feeling a bit better. It was like I had this burden on my shoulders for so long that when it happened, it was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
life is long.
Yeah.
I could change this. I
Life
could
is
make
long.
some changes.
I think of something my grandmother always told me. She would always tell me, "C'hai ancora assai di cammina a fare." You have a lot of steps in your life. You have a lot of walking left to do in your life.
It's wild because I used to think in a year, like I remember when I think of like how I used to create goals for myself, and they were so ridiculous because all this had to happen in a year.
Yeah.
because there's
Which is great, by the way. The sense of urgency and ambition,
it's great, but
very
it's
great.
also detrimental at a certain point where
hard to handle, probably.
it gets exhausting, right?
It's
Mentally,
exhausting, yeah.
because it always feels like a fail.
Yeah.
Even, like when you talk about growth or whatever it is, or in those steps, those baby steps, even if you take them and you did 1,000 of them, it's still a kilometer that you took or whatever it is. You don't realize that way, but it's still those one step at a time.
Totally.
And I remember just thinking to myself, I would pack in my fucking year of goals from every aspect. We gotta do this, we gotta achieve this, we gotta do that, we gotta do that. And it was great because I got a lot of stuff done. But in the process, exhausted mentally and physically. In the process, isolated. In the process, really hit hard with the feeling of maybe not enough or all those things, or you could do more work. You could have, how come you didn't finish that? And whatever it is. And that life is long vibe has changed that. It's like, no, these are long-term goals.
That saves
Stretching them out. You know what I mean?
Saves me time and time again, because I've learned to program myself. You have to guide your own thoughts. You have to be in control of your thoughts. And a lot of times you have to, like, literally, for me anyways, I have to remind myself, like, life is long. You have a lot of walking to do still. It's going to be all right. One step at a time, and slowly but surely, brick by brick, you're going to get there.
It's funny you say that, because there isn't really any other way to look at it. But we're so programmed to think that we're not going to be around. And then there's moments where, you get a bit of a scare and that wakes you up.
You had a scare, right?
Yeah, dude, that scare. So I know for me, like, there's turning points that when I look back at my life now, and it's only 41 years, I look at it and I'm like, I could pinpoint where there was like a huge shift in a mental state.
Okay.
2015, there was a huge shift. And at 2019, when I was worried that I was going to be sick.
What was your scare,
by
the way?
Dude, it was wild, because all of a sudden, I started losing my hearing.
Okay.
And so the first thing that I had was like, I don't play music anymore.
Right.
And now I'm not even going to be able to hear it. And that was kind of like the first one. Even when I think about it now, like, I get goosebumps, because I'm like, I was so worried about that. I was like, I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, the thing that I enjoyed for my whole life, I'm not even going to be able to hear this. And then, then just I think, imagine Beethoven, like, fucking losing his hearing, and he was fucking Beethoven. You know what I mean? I'm a nobody. And the thought of not listening to music or being a part of anything, especially even from that, I can't even listen to it anymore. It's like, that's how I felt.
Of course, dude.
That was
devastating.
That was the first thing. It's like, I don't play it anymore, and now I can't even fucking listen to this.
Enjoy it anymore.
I can't enjoy any. Like, how could you have taken that from me? That was the first feeling. Like, how could this be taken from me?
Okay.
But then, bro, like, all of a sudden, I go do a hearing exam and a hearing test, and they're kind of a bit like, what the fuck is going on? Because I don't remember, it was my right ear, and he's like, this one is like deaf almost, because they were playing all these notes and you're not hearing shit, but this one's kind of like at the level it should be for your age.
Okay.
So they're like, the contrast was so big.
It's making me like, my ears are hurting right now.
Like, oh, I'm fucking you up. And the doctor's like, it was so big, the contrast, that you got to go check this out. Something is weird here. Okay. Because now it shifts to another scare. Well, if it's not hearing loss, what the fuck is it? Dude, they go do all these tests, and then they see this thing in my brain, and I'm like, oh no, fuck music. That was like the first. But that's what happened.
Take the music, take the earring, fucking.
Fuck, I'll never listen to a song again. Fuck, I'll burn my guitar. I don't give a shit. Like, what the fuck just happened? And that's what I mean is, like, that scare reminded me of, like, all the things I thought were like these big regrets. And then it was like, oh my God, from the concept of life is long, and this life is long, is to, oh my God, life just got very short. Yeah. And that was, dude, months and months of tests, scans. And then when they came back, that it ended up becoming something that it was just hereditary, dude. Like, this thing that I had in my brain is just probably always been there. But every year, that was the name of the show, came from that, was Dead Man Walking.
Right, yeah.
Because I have to still go do tests like every year to 2 years to see if that's at the same level or if it gets worse. So I don't know.
And it getting worse means
it's a hole.
What is
There's
it?
a hole.
A hole? Okay.
There's a hole. So there's like a hole in the section here, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember right or left now. And so what was worrisome for them is that they said, we haven't seen something like this. Like, so why is there a hole? So I started getting worried. I'm like, oh my God, if there's a hole, like, is this affecting me somehow?
right.
Fucking, is
Yeah,
something
yeah.
not, is like, is there like a blockage or something that's happening in my brain that
Or
I'm not,
anything, yeah.
anything, like what's
Yeah.
happening? And they're like, where it is, if it would affect you, you wouldn't, I think it would have affected my eyesight.
Okay.
Like you'd be blind. So clearly it's not impacting you. So it must have been there from the day you were born.
It's
or
almost just supposed to be there.
it's just supposed to be there. So for some reason, the first thing that I thought of in my mind was my mom. You need like a fucking hole in the head. You know, like those
my
stupid
dad used to
lines.
tell me that all the time.
And then once they told me it was right there, I started laughing about it. But dude, I can tell you, the moment they told me that it looks like it's gonna be okay, and you just gotta come and check up every few years and check it out.
What does that feel like?
The best feeling.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling ever. Because you're like, oh fuck, because the process at one point was surgeries, potential like a complete deterioration of your brain. It could be, or they could go in, do a surgery, and you're just not the same anymore. You never know what happened to the surgery.
Yeah, that's
so,
sketchy.
dude. So, and it's your brain.
Yeah.
So I was starting to get worried at the beginning. I thought I lost music, and then I said, oh my god, I'm gonna lose myself. Like if they do something wrong, I won't even be me anymore. Like what am I gonna be? I could be a vegetable. Like it was, everything had just completely just changed. And that was definitely the biggest shift that I ever had in my life. And that's where, well, now that I had this chance, life is long, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I need to get back to the things that feel good.
Yeah.
I can't just be in that office and only that. I'm not saying get rid of it all the way. It pays bills. I get it. But I cannot just do that.
No, yeah.
It's over. Like the day of just going to work and coming home and going to work and back to you. Not this is supposed to be your episode.
No,
what the
but
fuck?
I really had questions about it. I was planning on asking you because I had pretty much gathered like the name of the podcast came from the scare that I heard you mention.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know. I wanted to make sure everything's cool, and which I thought it was.
Yeah,
But,
for now, right? And that's, I think, the part of it that does remind you that life is long,
Yeah.
but don't waste the time either,
Right.
because you don't know if it'll
Yeah.
be long. Like my buddy Jason DiTullio, like, dude, funny enough, we saw each other before he got sick, and then he passed away.
No way.
Yeah, and we had this conversation stuck with me, bro, so much, because I remember I ended up bumping into him. And I used to live I was in Griffintown next to Moretti. And so I had this, I don't remember, I just went there for like a 5 cassette or something. And I see Jay there and I'm like, hey, Jay, what's up? And we're catching up. And he's telling me all these things. When I think about it now, it's wild. And he had brain cancer, and kind of like in a weird sense, it was like the two worlds that just were very like similar scariness, but he got the bad news and I got the good news. And I remember him telling me these things, like he was on TSN at the time. He was doing a lot of hits on TSN for the Impact. He was doing a lot of stuff with the Impact. And he told me this thing, and it's sad when I think about it now. Like he's like, my goal is to do like Team Canada, coach Team Canada, start with this, start with that. And he was naming these things. And so when I think of that conversation, I'm like, oh fuck, like he didn't get a chance to do any of that, you know? And so when you think about that, sometimes you're like, it could have been a lot different, this whole story, had I got bad news. And I think that's where that balance of life is long, but don't waste the time thinking that it's that long either, because it goes pretty fucking fast
It does
too.
go fast too, yeah. It's true. It's true. I remember my father telling me a few days after my grandfather died, his dad could last forever.
It ends.
Actually ends.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, shit.
It's wild, dude, because you get so caught up. Like, now you tell me you had 3 kids, dude. With one kid, the day flies by. Like maybe they take care of themselves a little more. Like they're in their own little like gang when they're 3. But music, family, chickens,
massive garden,
massive garden. How are you?
greenhouse,
How are you? Do you feel like you're able to give the right amount of time to these things? Because it's so hard at times.
It's really hard. It's obviously not without its challenges to do all of these things. But I do prioritize the time with my kids, and like, you know, I homeschool my kids, for example, and we don't do daycare, or we don't do any of that kind of thing. So my wife and I, we have days where either or will work, and whoever's not working is watching the kids. And obviously we get help from the grandparents, our parents, right? They come in and they'll help watch the kids. And so I'm able to do 6 days a week, and she's able to do 3, you know, like with the help. She works part-time, I do full-time. So we're able to get everything done. And within this kind of ecosystem of ours, the priority is the kids. And I'll put everything else aside. Like if I've got something to do, or let's say I get a request from my kid, like bring me to the park or let's do this, let's do that. I'm always like, okay, let's go. And sometimes I feel guilty because I'll put work aside for that. And
How do you find I was about to ask you the balance of that, because in an industry like music where it's always like, if you don't do it, you're yesterday's news. Like you're always behind. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the burden of music, is that it never stops.
it never stops. I always feel guilty when I'm not working,
Mm-hmm.
even if I'm doing 5-6 days a week. Like the day that I'm watching the kids, or like sometimes I watch them 2 days. I feel fucking guilty because I've got this list of shit to do, and I could have got that done. I could have got this done, which is just kind of stupid because you have enough time. Most people do 5 days a week anyways, you know. So
And the amount of and the effort that you're putting in your own work in general is probably diving in deeper in your
Yeah.
5 days than most people are doing at a job they hate.
we finished at 2 in the morning last night. We were in the studio. I think we started at noon and we went till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's like regular. That'll happen once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. Like happens pretty often. So yeah, we put in a lot of hours. I have a session after this too. you know.
Oh, you just made me think of a question. I'm sorry, I was thinking of something, but the shift back, like we jumped again from La Voix,
Oh yeah.
because I'm like that is a big fucking shift, and it got you back into music.
Yeah.
And we just kind of brushed over that. I'm
Yeah,
like, wait,
okay.
we can't go to
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
yesterday's session. In my mind, I'm like, because what the fuck
Yeah.
happened for you to dive back in
Okay.
and kind of reconnect again at this point?
Yeah. And I totally we shouldn't brush over.
I can't.
Yeah,
I'm like
no.
in my mind, I was like, wait a second, but before we talk about this session yesterday,
Yeah.
what the fuck happened that day?
It was awesome, dude. They were like, we want you on the show. Come and try out. So I got really excited. It was like a godsend for me. I loved it. I went over there, did the auditions. They're like, awesome, you're great. I did the audition à l'aveugle, on TV. I got chosen by a couple of the chairs turned around.
Yeah.
Chose my coach. Did the whole show. I went into I think it was the semifinals.
Oh, nice.
I made it up to semifinals, and it was awesome. It was just like a dream come true.
Oh fuck, dude! Going from like not doing anything with music to all of a sudden also going into kind of like the prime spotlight of Quebec music.
Yeah.
Like that's like, dude, La Voix is the voice pretty much. You know what I mean? So from
It
an
is.
American standpoint, it's huge, and from a
It's
Quebec
huge.
standpoint, it's huge.
It's huge. It's huge. And, I was able to actually quit my job. By that point, my house was done, more or less done. We were able to live in it. And I left the construction company because I was getting paid from l'Union des Artistes to be on the show.
Okay.
So if you're with the artist union, you get paid. There's like a prime.
Yeah.
And so you get paid. And I was making enough that I didn't have to work.
Amazing.
At that
That's
time.
like the dream at some point. You have everything, like the house, going
Yeah.
back into music.
Yeah. So then, I do the show. It goes great. Semifinals, super happy. And then I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to launch my solo career now. So Matt and I decide to produce my first single for my solo career. As it was a song called Mike Valletta.
I saw.
And it fucking went to like number one. It was like top 10 on certain charts, on some satellite radio charts. It went to like number one.
Yeah.
We had like crazy success with it right out the gates. And so at that point, Matt and I were like, you know what? Like, let's just keep going. This
It's
was,
feeling good. Keep going.
this was right around that time where we decided, okay, we're really going to start this business now. And we're going to go into it full pin. So we started, and we were like struggling pretty hard because we had a few clients that we were not charging them very much at all. Because in the beginning, right?
Yeah, like someone hired me. That's
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is. Like, oh my God, someone actually believes enough to pay me for this.
Yeah. So we kind of struggled for the first like year, 2 years.
Yeah.
It was like, how it is. And then after that, things started picking up, and we kept doing a bunch of hits on the radio. And then people would call us. I heard your song. I really like it. Can you work with me and help me out? So that's just basically how it went from La Voix. I did this awesome show on television, went to the semifinals, gained a little following, started a solo career, started producing for my solo career. Then I'm getting requests from other people. So now I'm producing for a bunch of clients at a super low rate. But slowly the rate's rising.
Look at the camera. Slower.
Very low. It made its way up, thankfully. And, I just kept going with the solo career for like the first, I would say, 3 years. And in 2018 or 19, I had a pretty big hit called Waiting for my solo career. It was like the biggest one of my solo career.
How you feeling at this point, dude?
I was happy, man. And I just found out my wife was pregnant at the same time with
First
our
one?
first kid.
Oh, dude, everything happens in two for you. Fucking house finishes, la voix. Fucking hit, and fucking
Hey,
baby.
maybe
There's always
that's
like
how it
this
works.
balance going on.
Yeah, maybe, man. Who knows? Like, that's kind of cool to think that there's some kind of divine intervention and things happen in two, or there's a structure to how things happen. You know? It's like, side note, there's something put us here, something created us. There's guaranteed. We're not here by accident, but you know, I do believe in that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
I have a respect for whatever it is. I don't know,
Yeah,
but whatever is there, I respect it.
yeah. You
know?
have to. It's
Oh, yeah.
and if someone feels that way and it helps them, and it like why not? I that's the part that I never understood from people. I'm not a very religious person. I don't disrespect someone that is.
Yeah.
Everyone has their way of looking at things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
If it's guiding you in the direction that you feel is helping you get to be your best,
Yeah.
the fuck else do you need?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's a philosophy, right?
Yeah.
If it's a positive, helpful, and great.
Exactly. Whichever one it is,
Yeah,
as long as it's helping you get the better version of you, that's all
Totally.
that matters.
for sure. Definite.
But you were saying, so like, dude, so the hit happens,
Mm-hmm.
the baby.
Yeah.
Is this a bit of how were you feeling? Because there's like a
Very, very good. I was
okay, it was good because sometimes people are like, oh my god, is this gonna stop the career? Like, did you have that
no,
bit of that
no,
feeling of
bro,
like, oh my god,
no.
is this gonna get in the way?
no. It was everything that mattered to me
Okay.
to have kids. You know, like I remember to go into another like full transparency, reflective moment of my life. I remember having my coffee in the morning, standing in front of my window, looking out into the front yard, and we had no kids. We had two cats that we really cared for. And I remember kind of petting my cat and then looking out the window and thinking, what's the point of my life? I don't have. And at that time, we were trying, but we couldn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening for a long time. I was worried. We were doing tests and all this stuff. And I felt like, no, like there's no, like the reason I'm here is to have kids. What's the point of my life if I don't have kids? And that's how I always felt. And for me personally, for whatever reason, that's what it was. So when I found out that we were going to have a baby, it was just the best.
The boys work.
The boys work. Yeah.
It's funny. I had a completely different perspective. I didn't want kids.
Oh, no.
At all. At all. I said, what a fucking pain in the ass, these fuckers.
Yeah.
I didn't want kids at all.
Yeah.
And I was always like, how could you want kids?
Yeah.
Like, because I was so driven with career. That was like, at one point, the obsession for me. That life was all based on career. And also, I don't know, I didn't have that family connection. I just didn't have that at the time.
Okay.
And then funny enough, when we decided we were going to start trying, same thing, wasn't happening. And then when it finally hit, it was kind of like, I remember that was like another wake-up call. Like, again, you know, like these wake-up calls of like, oh my God, it had shifted my whole mindset of life. And then the moment I saw my daughter, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, why did I wait so long?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
why did I wait so
exactly.
long for this?
I felt
But
the same way, man.
to be honest, I had to.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I would have been a good dad younger, but I don't think I was mentally ready, to be quite honest. I was immature
I feel
from
you on that too.
I was immature when I think of it from
Yeah.
an emotional standpoint, from even as a partner standpoint, very immature. And then all of a sudden that was like a game changer.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my God, this is like the piece of the puzzle I didn't realize that was missing. I didn't even know I was missing this piece. I thought I had the puzzle completed.
Yeah.
And then boom, the moment she came in was like
Yeah.
the piece right in the middle that fucking connects the whole board in
Yeah.
a sense. Like that was the piece. I never knew it was that. I'm not saying for everybody have a kid. It's like everyone has a different experience. But for
course.
me, that was like
course.
a huge chunk of
Yeah.
the puzzle was missing
Yeah.
that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I completely like the moment that I found out, it changed. I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was scared. I was fucking shitting in my pants.
I was too.
Bro, all I was thinking to myself was,
Every time.
how am I gonna watch a kid? I could barely watch it myself sometimes.
I feel you, man. Like you, I think it was almost the same experience for me. It happened at the right time.
Yeah.
Before that, in my early 20s, I wouldn't have been able. I don't think I would have been. I could have done it, but I don't think I was at the right point in my life.
I don't think I would have been a good dad.
Exactly.
I would have been a dad,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't have been a good dad. I
Exactly.
would have been too self-absorbed
Yeah.
still in things that I needed.
Yeah.
I think I still had those regrets not achieving, and then this would have been like, oh, now this makes it even harder for me to achieve my dream. You know what I mean? Like you can you can blame this kid very easily for life not turning out the way you wanted, on top of already how you felt, very easily.
Yeah, for sure. I think there are people that feel that way, and you know that's part of life, eh? It's not easy. There's a lot of work, and you do have to be ready for it.
Oh yeah, dude.
You have to be what's the word? You have to be like hardened through the fire to be able to handle that kind of.
I said this on, I think on the last episode I released. It forces you to do so many things you do not want to do. Challenge how you think of things. Challenge your emotions, because you want to fucking lose it sometimes. But then you're like, she's a baby, she doesn't know. And so you're like, how do I control that and still teach a lesson, but not be overbearing? But and dude, so you are tested on a fucking daily basis of who you are and how you want to be represented to this kid and this this role model in a sense, because they see everything. So they fucking remember everything you say and do. You don't realize that they do.
You don't realize it.
But they're there,
when
and
they
they're
start
like,
getting a little older, then you start to realize.
Yeah, the way they act, the way they'll respond, whatever it is, they've seen this pattern for 10 years, so
I know.
they're gonna pick up on it.
And it's hard. It's. I don't think it's ever gonna be easy.
No.
You know, it's just one of those things. Like you got to work at it, and you just gotta like put in the work. You know, but I mean, for me, when I found out I was having my first kid, it was just this beautiful moment. I was so excited.
Amazing.
Ecstatic. It was just like everything that we were hoping for. The career was taking off, was going well, you know, everything was good. And just to go back to the kind of structure that you wanted to put in place before, of like, let's not brush over la voix and all that shit. Like going back to that, basically, what was the trajectory of my career after I had this kid, right? So we put out some singles, and then we start getting more clients, right? And we start doing some hits for other people. And now we get like heavy into production and writing just for other people. And I decide to let go of my solo career and to stop singing for good. I don't know. It was going well.
Yeah.
And I just, I wanted to devote myself to production, to become a better producer. Production is one of those things that you really do have to dedicate yourself in many avenues of the craft daily if you want to excel and you want to get better. And you have to collaborate with other people and share with other people and also learn from other people. But it's really almost, I don't know, it's kind of like, you know, like following a PhD and embodying what that
life is,
or the degree is, or the field of research is, whatever it is. You have to just kind of breathe, sleep it, and like submerge yourself in it for production. So that was the idea. It was like, it's taking up too much of my time, the solo thing, the singing, making my own songs. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to go full pin into the production, which was great. I regret it.
How did you know that was right? What was that final clinch, or that nudge you needed to make that decision? Because that's a big one, because now you're seeing success from the solo side. It's not like it was going to shits and you decide to stop. So you see this thing is rising, and you're like, fuck it. There was a nudge that happened to say, fuck it, I'm going to go. But it was just like, what triggered that final decision?
My ambition to really excel as a producer.
Okay.
And I think it was because I was thinking of my future, and I was thinking of, for me, age is just a number, by the way. But as a singer, I felt like, okay, you know, I'm 39 right now. So at the time I was in my mid 30s, going into like, you know, I was going up to 36, and I thought, how long could I really sing for? You know, is this really something that I want to invest in? Or would it be more beneficial for me to invest in my future as a producer, where there's probably more longevity, because the age doesn't matter as much as a behind the scenes kind of guy versus spotlight artist who's going to be going out. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I made the right choice. I don't know if my logic was correct or not. Sometimes I regret it.
Fuck, why did I keep on going? I fucking had it.
I took a shot. I was like, you know what? This seems right. I don't know if I made the right choice. Sometimes I think of releasing music again and singing again. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure yet. But that's what at the time, that's what I decided to do.
Well, you can't foresight, you know, like it's very easy to say, oh, could it have been a mistake? But in those moments, you know, and I remember someone told me this once, that a lot of times, especially if you're like in art or in music or anything like that, at the beginning, you want to be the spotlight. that's what you're there for. You want to be on stage, right?
Yeah.
And it fucking feels great because everyone's clapping for you, and
Yeah.
the parties after, and just you're creating and you're doing all these things together, or you're building something, but the camera's on you and you're like this focus. And then as you get older, a lot of times he says you notice that let's say if you're an actor, you want to be in the shot, but then slowly you want to be the director. And you like seeing all the parts that make up a nice shot, not just you in the shot. And then there even becomes another part where you want to be the producer and you want to see the whole thing come together and not just the shot. And so like a lot of times that growth happens without even you realizing it. And you're like, oh, it's always great to be on camera. You can't, I would love to be on the stage again playing guitar. But if you tell me if I could create a show for people to come watch, I think I would actually prefer doing that now versus being on the stage. And then, you know, if you have the whole thing and you produce the whole thing, it gets even cooler for me now because it's, I feel like your strengths, you don't have one strength. So the singing is like, this is a one strength idea, you know, it's singular. Or for me, music guitar was like singular. But then now doing something like this, it's like my communications are better. My production is better. Growing this, like learning how to do the marketing. I understand marketing, so I worked in marketing for a long time. It's like, okay, like how do I bring that strength out into this project? And
how do I apply that?
How do I apply all of these things that make me a fully rounded person here versus the guitar, which was very singular in a sense, like it just one thing. It was just this one art form coming out.
I totally agree with that. Because I used to get a lot of satisfaction being the singer in the spotlight, like you said. You get a high of adrenaline, all that. Man, do I get satisfaction when an artist that I've worked with in the studio for like 6 months making a song gets on the radio. Like I remember getting in the car a few months ago, and one of the artists that we've been working with for a while, June 16.
Yeah, I heard a few tracks.
Her song was on I wasn't expecting it. I'm in the car with my family, start driving down the road, and it's the beat. They're like, blah, 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 June 16. And I was like, what? Bro, I got as excited for that moment hearing June 16 on the radio as like when I would go on stage.
It's crazy. My buddy Luca says the same thing too. Liberatore. He says the same exact thing. Like when he hears the songs that he produced.
Totally, bro.
And it's like it's a whole other high now of just you're so proud of.
Oh yeah.
You know, it must be an amazing feeling still. No matter what anyone says, hearing your song or hearing the song you were a part of.
Of course it is. It doesn't matter who's singing for me. It's something that I was part of that I helped create with the artist is out there, and it's being shared and people are listening to it and they're enjoying it. I mean, that's amazing. That's really something special, and I feel very grateful that I get to experience that and to enjoy that.
And so now the Floating Heads, that's kind of the main gig right now. It's the production side.
Yeah, production and writing.
And Matt, your buddy Matt, he was part of the band, you said, no? A long time ago?
So Matt was part of the band. Matt is like my best friend since I was a little kid, man. We grew up on the same street pretty much.
So you, Derek and Dave, same story.
Same story, like... probably very, very close to Derek and Dave. Bro, we went to elementary school together. He got me started in music when we were 13. He had a band. And at the time, I was singing for fun. You know, my parents had a karaoke machine. And he was like, I think you're pretty good.
Anyone that sounds decent when you're young,
yeah.
You're the singer, bro. Because it's the hardest one to find. That and the bass player is the shittiest guitarist in the band.
He heard me sing karaoke a couple times at my house. And he's like, yeah, man, you should join. So I was like, cool, let's do it. And that's basically how it started. And, you know, we were like 13, 14. We started this band. And by the time we were 17, what really kind of kicked things off for Matt and I was that one of our songs got picked up by the Vermont radio station, The Buzz, 99.9 The Buzz.
I love this. I used to love The Buzz. I don't listen to it as much anymore, but I used to love that fucking station. Man.
Pete Powers.
Pete Powers. It was amazing.
Of course. I still put it on once.
And then you get a Tom Mesner hit out of nowhere. Getting your weather report from WPTZ Plattsburgh.
I remember there's the other dude, the other announcer, Maze. And he
had like this
Pete
intro.
Powers.
Pete Powers in the morning.
And Maze's intro was like, at a point they said this kind of like fake word that they made up. It's like amazerful, you know?
That station was
stupid.
Everything that was cool was coming out on the Buzz like 5 months before Show'em.
Oh, for sure.
Like every rock or alternative or whatever it was always like half a year before.
The Buzz was amazing. The best, bro. The best. I had the sticker on my bumper and everything. So like we like kind of hounded them for a little while, you know, like 17-year-old kids doing like this kind of like funk rock stuff, you know. It was kind of it was very interesting. We were always extremely creative. So we sent them this music and they actually picked it up and they started and the song was gaining traction and on the Buzz. So we ended up getting these invites to go to Vermont, 17-year-old kids, and they're like, come on the Jim Kavanaugh late night show.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you ever heard of that. So we went and we performed there, and we're on television in the USA
That's amazing.
at 17 years old with like a song that we made in our drummer's parents' basement. And then we got invited by University of Vermont to do some shows there. Next thing you know, we're playing for like huge crowds of like college kids. We're 17.
Yeah.
We're playing for all these college kids in
Amazing.
Vermont. Crazy, fucking awesome parties.
I can imagine.
It was
I was about to say
amazing,
that.
dude. It
17-year-old on a college campus.
It was fucked. We had a blast, bro. We partied our asses off.
Yeah.
It was the age too, you know what I mean?
You have to. If you don't take advantage of that moment, you're a fucking clown. Like, you
Oh,
have to
man,
do everything.
Bro, the best stories, the most fucked up, stupid things we did. We had a ball. So
What's
like,
the one that when you think back, if you can, I don't know if you could even say it, but
I don't know if I can say that.
I was like, because there's always, whenever you think of a moment, you know, like a time you're like, that story was a mental one. It always sticks out.
Oh yeah, there's one I can't say. There's a lot of cool shit. I mean, what was the okay, one that's like pretty decent, that's like pretty crazy, was we were out in Sylvan Lake, Alberta.
Okay.
So we're touring with the band, and we're playing with Headley before, you know, at the time where they were still pretty relevant, you know.
Yeah.
And Our Lady Peace, and there was some big bands from Alberta and BC at the time that were also really, really popular. And there was also Matthew Good, who was there, which was for my guitarist, Jeff, who's also a childhood friend. That's the story about our band, by the way. Matt was my childhood friend, and our other guitarist, Jeff, was my best friend since kindergarten.
So it was that's why it was the breakup was hard.
Yes, we were three best friends like growing up,
Yeah.
and we all lived in the same few streets.
Area, yeah.
And then there was our bassist Jono and Stu, and we're all still good friends. And so anyways, so Jeff was a huge fan of Matthew Good because he had some hard times in his life, and he relied on Matthew Good's music to help him cope when he was younger.
So it must have been a fucking dream, dude, playing, and there was that artist that you kind of like. It must have been a fucking dream for him, dude.
Bro, it was such a meaningful night because, you know, it's not a crazy party story where we like fucking did acid and then dove into a pool from the 14th floor.
It's always, what is it about diving off off a fucking roof doing acid? If you played rock and roll, it's like all our dreams are based on Almost Famous, where he's jumping up. I'm a fucking lizard
I'm
king.
a golden god.
I'm a golden god. They're just high as shit, jumping on fucking.
I mean, we
roof.
did that shit too. It was one time in LA. We were living in LA recording our album, and we went to we were in Burbank in some hotel in Burbank, and there's like this porn capital going on in Burbank.
Great place to be.
Great place to be. But we walk into a random bar. It happens to be a porn star hangout spot where they do porn star karaoke. Bro, we met Ron Jeremy. We saw a bunch of porn stars that we knew. They're singing, and we're musicians, so we go up, we're singing with them. Next thing you know, we're like making friends and hanging out with them and shit. So we like, while we're living there, we keep going to the bar just to like have fun with these people, because, you know, they're really outgoing and
Yeah.
and
Well,
really
it's
fun.
also, dude, you're like here in LA, you know, could you have imagined that when you were here in Montreal as a kid, like that you're there partying with Ron Jeremy? Dude, how many times you fucking watch the videos
grimy
and you're like,
shit.
you fucking watch, you know exactly who that
Yeah.
person is.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was cool, you know, like we went there, we sang with them, we had some drinks, whatever. It was cool, man. It was really fun. We met a lot of people when we were in LA. We met Flea, we met Dave Navarro, Jack Black, you know, even John Voight, you know, like just crazy stuff. As it's LA, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so we go and we get fucking wasted on tequila one night at the porn star bar, and we start walking back to the hotel, me and Matt. And I decided it'd be a great idea to climb a fucking palm tree with my bare hands.
Always.
Great idea.
Fucking
Wasted on
amazing
tequila.
idea.
Very smart. So I fucking climb up there like an idiot. And now I'm like stuck like 50 feet up or something. And I'm like shitting my pants because there's wind blowing and I'm hanging on for dear life. I'm like,
You're
what
like,
the
the fuck am I gonna get back down?
Matt's laughing. He's just
Yeah.
filming.
You
not
can't
helping.
you can't ask any friends helping them. You are fucked. If you're with the boys are watching you squirm for at least till they see that there's a breaking point. Like, okay, we gotta get this fucker down, you know?
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Anyways, he's laughing his ass off. Finally, I shimmy my way down. We go back to the hotel. We sit on the roof of the hotel and we smoke an entire pack of cigarettes for no reason. Matt didn't even smoke at the time.
He said, fuck it.
Yeah, literally, he's like, whatever, let's go smoke a whole pack. We keep drinking on the hotel. You know, we decide like we're just gonna fucking pass out there basically. And then we wake up in the morning like in the sun in LA on a fucking hotel, super hungover. But what a blast. Like,
Amazing.
lifetime memory, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of fun shit like that. But going into the meaningful stuff of the career, like, we got to party with, like, Matthew Good
Yeah.
and drink moonshine with Matthew Good, like, one of Jeff's, like, childhood favorite bands.
He must have been on Cloud9, dude. Like all of you guys, but for him, especially when it's that artist that you've
Yeah,
been.
bro, he cried there. He was like,
He's like, you're supposed to tell that story.
He's
You
like,
don't
yeah.
tell people that shit.
he kind of cried, like, on the side stage watching them, you know, because his mom had survived cancer, but he relied on their music when she had cancer. That was like his kind of lifeline. So we were like fucking drunk on moonshine, bro. They were supplying us free moonshine in Alberta.
Fucking dude, moonshine, emotions,
Yeah,
all happening.
exactly.
That's a breakdown waiting to happen.
Bro, so drunk, it was hilarious. Like, we go back to the hotel. Matt's so fucking wasted. As soon as the elevator doors open, he tries to take a step out, totally misses, falls straight on his face, and he's just like face planted. I'm like freaking. I'm like, oh my god, are you okay? I like roll him over, and he has like a big smile on his face. He's like, I'm fine.
His nose is crooked. I'm good. One, two,
good, I'm good. I pick him back up. We start walking. 4 steps later, same thing.
And then no one tells me. Now you're like, let's see what happened.
Oh my god, yeah, exactly. Crazy shit, bro. Like, we did this one tour across Canada where we did not want to be in a deficit and lose money. So we decided to cut as many costs as we could. And we decided to camp every night in tents.
That is definitely going to be stories to remember. When you start camping, bro, no matter what, you go camping for no reason and there's a story. So having to do it on the road, it must have been a fucking disaster.
It was, you know what? It was just amazing. I loved every second of it. As cold as it would get some nights, and as kind of fucked up as camping is, where it's like you finish the show, it's 3:30 in the morning and you're setting up tents and you're fucking dead tired.
Dude.
And in the dark.
Yeah, man. It's wild.
Yeah, we didn't care though. Like, man, we ate great food. We were like cooking fucking pasta on the propane stove, like with like, I would bring the pancetta, homemade pancetta from home.
What do you need?
Legit pasta, homemade wine, bro. We're having like fucking 5-course Italian meals, homemade shit. Camping at 3 in the morning on tour. Like,
that's amazing.
Amazing time, bro. Fires every night, you know, drinking, smoking bats, like having a fucking blast. And like, we did cross Canada. We did ocean to ocean.
Dude, that's big.
Camping on
That's
tour.
big. Wow, the whole way.
The whole way.
Holy fuck.
There were a couple nights where we were fed up and we got a hotel, but I think we did that twice, the hotel.
Wow. How long was the tour?
Like 2.5 weeks.
Okay, bro. 2.5 weeks sleeping outside is still fun. And that's a lot of driving.
3 weeks, maybe?
And a lot of gigs.
It was like 2.5 weeks with a couple extra days of like just driving that doesn't count as touring, you know, but it was 3 weeks. But no, it was a lot to go,
dude,
coast to coast in pretty much 3 weeks. But the experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, that's always the one thing that if you ask me, a regret that I wish we would have done at least once was a tour.
Yeah.
We never did the tour. And that was always something that when I think back now, we would have had a fucking blast. Because we had a blast in Quebec.
Yeah.
And a small part of Ottawa. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of ventured off into Ottawa.
A little like circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the circuit. So I can't even imagine what a cross-Canada tour in a fucking van, dude, with those fucking clowns in the car with me.
It was awesome.
It must have been amazing. I know it would have been an amazing scenario.
It was great, bro. It was so cool, man. Like, you know, it was simple. We didn't need much to be happy. We're fucking camping, sleeping on the ground every night.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. I found as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that it doesn't need to be complex.
No.
It's actually the opposite. The more complex it is, the less fun I have. Good conversations with friends, hanging out. Like, it doesn't have to be I remember at one point it was like, it had to be the biggest party.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't want to be at that party.
Yeah.
I don't even care about that party anymore.
Yeah.
I want to be like with people that matter and have a good time and then go to a party.
Yeah.
But not that like the party is going to make my night. I'm having a good night with or without this party. And I noticed that like that shift changed, and it's like the simple things like hang out with my friends. I just want to hang out with my friends.
Yeah, man.
And if it's for a dinner, we go for a dinner. If it's even coming over to the house and they're having drinks, whatever, I'll smoke a joint. They'll drink. I don't even drink anymore. And it's like
I don't smoke weed anymore.
Oh yeah, it's true.
It's
We had this. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, go here, play dice.
Yeah.
And everyone's having a good time. We're laughing, putting some money on the table, just having a good time.
Yeah.
And you realize like those were all the things we did as a band. Like it kind of went
Yes.
like back to
It's true. It's true.
It went back to those days of like, I don't really need all this extra noise anyways. Like this is actually more fun.
You know what I hope for when I'm older? I hope that I've raised my kids well and they always come hang out with me,
Yeah, dude.
and that I still have friends that could hang out with weekly and just have a good time and have meaningful conversations. Like that's the one like richesse d'envie that for me is like above everything. It's like your family and your friends and
Yeah.
the company. If you don't have that, who cares about the success, about the money, the fucking cars, the whatever? Who
Yeah.
cares about that?
I
If
know.
you're,
I know.
you know how many like billionaires are probably miserable because they don't have this community.
What I'm noticing now is that they both kind of work in a way where there's this realistic aspect of being broke, not fun, not fun, not fun. But being rich, lonely is not fun either.
Exactly.
So it's like, so there's
Sweet spot, right?
There's a sweet spot of like that multiple personality. I find like even as a dad or as a guy, whatever it is, you have to have this kind of a split personality there where one side is like, I got to get this work done because I want to take care of my family. I want to like, and I
have
don't
to,
care
you
if
have
that's
to.
all. I don't give a fuck if that's all those.
Yeah.
Of course, I want to take care of my family.
Yeah.
At the same time,
You got to be like a soldier, bro.
yeah,
have
you
to
got.
be
Sometimes
like,
you have to be a soldier, dude. Like it's till 3 o'clock in the morning. You have to work. You're exhausted. You pay all this shit.
fucking get back up.
Get
Every
back
time,
up
no
every
matter
day,
what the
and
fuck happens.
and it's a grind no matter what, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
goes down. But that's why it's like it's so important that you have to work on things that you
Yeah.
care about.
Yeah.
Because if not, that grind, bro, gets heavy. Because it's on your shoulders. So it's like, okay, I don't mind taking all this grind, but I got to be working on something that I want to work on.
Right. You need the balance, right?
The balance.
Yeah.
And then coming home and having the friends and the family and all that stuff, it just kind of like recompense all that work
Yeah, for sure.
that you
man.
just put in. So the grind sucks at times. But when like my kid comes and grabs me, dude, and she fucking gives me a big hug and all that shit, dude, you're like, okay, it wasn't so bad today.
Exactly.
The day wasn't so bad.
Exactly.
Actually, I love going and pick her up because even if my day was shit,
Yeah.
when I go pick her up, it's like she comes in for her. She doesn't give a fuck about this. She just wants to see you and she wants to play and it just totally throws you out of your day and goes into this like kid life. It forces you to be a kid almost again. And that's why, you know, when I hear people say, "Oh, I miss those days," it's you miss those days because when they're a kid, they're not thinking of the world the way you are as an adult. They're like they're a kid. They just want to fucking play. They want to play soccer. They want to play outside. They want to eat supper with you. They just want to hang out with you. And they're like your best friend. You know, like you're like their best friend and all this shit. So, dude, it's a trip because you get this crazy life of the day and this grind and your mind is scattered. And then all of a sudden you get there and she's like, she doesn't give a fuck. She just wants to play. And you're like, okay.
It's grounding, right?
It's grounding, dude. Instant.
Totally. I get that too. And we all know the grind, like you said, it gets heavy sometimes, right?
Dude.
So
Sometimes you're like, what the fuck am I doing this for? What the fuck is going on?
Man, I've been asking myself that on and off for years.
But so now, if to kind of bring things up and kind of close this up sooner than later, because I know you have shit to do. I have shit to do.
Yeah.
But where you see like now you're back into music production. The family is set up. You have all this stuff. What are you seeing now, or how are you seeing the future? Right.
The future for me is going to be a balanced of, I think there's duality in everything, right? And I think that you have to know and accept that fact of life. So like we were describing, I think going forward, there's going to be a lot of fucking hard ass work. But my hope is that through this hard work and the success that, you know, I'm going to garner for myself through this hard work, I'm going to be able to keep building this life with my family, with my friends, for my future. For me, it's really like kind of a bird's eye view. It's not just career oriented or goal oriented. It's more about what do I want? What do I need to do over the next few years to end up in later in life where I would want to be for my family, for what they need and what I need. So for me, it's a blend of career, but it's also a blend of a bit of real estate. So career-wise, we have a few initiatives going on. We're developing some amazing artists, bro. Super talented artists.
Amazing.
Some are really young. We're putting a lot into these artists. One of them, she just put out a song on the radio. Her second hit with us has just come out on the radio. We did one hit with her a few months ago, huge on the radio. Now we're doing another one. It was iHeartRadio Future Star.
Okay.
Few months back.
I saw a post.
So she's just put out another one now. We did this great EP with her. We've put a lot of time into that. So we're very looking forward to seeing that flourish. There's a few other artists like June 16 as well. We've done some unbelievable new music. I'm also doing. I have this DJ project where I do house music.
Yeah, I saw. It's like that's. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? There was all these different facets that I saw. So I was like, that's what I was curious. I was like,
Yeah,
what's
bro.
he see?
That's for me. That's like I'm not singing, but I'm doing that for me because I love fucking house music
Yeah.
so much. It's just such a.
It's like a trance.
It's like an addiction or a trance. Yeah.
When you get good house music, I like. Don't ask me the artist names, but like all of a sudden, when it comes on and there's a fucking good beat,
You know what I
it
heard,
could
bro?
last for 15 minutes and you don't even realize it, and you're like, this is fucking great.
What you're saying is totally scientifically true. It's apparently the rhythms and the patterns in the house music, the repetitive patterns, mimic the not the circuitry of the brain, but the neuron firing pattern of the brain,
It's
which
like-
fires in a pattern, in a repetitive pattern.
I totally understand that.
So it's like it matches the brain function, and that's why it feels entrancing and addictive.
I was gonna ask you 432.
Of course, I've done songs in
Okay.
432.
I finally did that test, and
Okay.
I'm actually gonna use that on
Yeah.
my end
Okay.
more often of music at 432, 440,
Yeah.
and then 450, the same track,
Yes.
and the internal feeling
Hmm.
is very obvious of how 432 just feels better. Like for me personally, so like I've done the 450. I because I didn't know I just tested them out, and then I said like how would normally someone feel. So I had kind of written down like all the things of how I was feeling after listening to 450, and I noticed that I was stressed. I was like anxious for some reason listening to 450. I'd felt like a frustration almost in a
Well,
sense,
bro,
like,
it's true.
and the frequency,
It's real.
it's real. Well, to me, it was. I can tell you from a personal experience
It's everything.
that the 432 one, even I tune my guitars now to 432, and I noticed that I'm like I enjoy playing it more. Even singing on top of it is easier. I feel like I'm not straining
Yeah,
if I'm
totally.
if I'm playing the same
It's,
song on 432 versus 440. Huge difference for me.
I think it's like an exponential multiple of the Schumann resonance, the resonance of the earth.
Yeah.
And it's not quite 432, but very close to 432. And I found that I dream in 432. Sometimes I get song ideas where I'm half asleep, and I'll wake up in the night, I'll record them on my phone, and then the next day I go back and I try to like tab out the chords on my guitar. And a few times it's happened where like I can't find the chords. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe it's in 432. So I tune down to 432, and bam, the chords work.
It just flows, dude.
But it was sick because I was like, oh my God, do we dream in 432? It's like,
I don't know. I haven't gone that far down the rabbit hole of 432, but I've started digging in 432, and I'm like, I feel
yeah,
better.
yeah.
Like so now now the problem is that everything is 440, and I think you know what bothered me.
It's a conspiracy that it was done on purpose, the 440, to aggravate the cellular structure of the body.
You know what I had heard also was one of the main reasons. It was just easier for production of instruments to tune.
Okay.
But that's why
I've heard that too, because 432 is not reliable.
it's not reliable as a tuning method,
Yeah.
a tuning standard. So they went with 440 because
Yeah.
it was easiest for mass production of instruments.
Which is true. It is true.
But the funny enough, the areas of the world that still kind of leverage a little more 432 are all the fucking music we use to go to massages, to relax.
Really? I didn't know that.
More like Asian vibe to it, or an Indian vibe, or kind of spa music and all that stuff that we use and we leverage. A lot of that music is with a 432.
Holy shit.
So it was funny that, and they're the cultures that kind of didn't really jump on the bandwagon for 440. So
Right.
it's funny, it becomes a very Western thing, the
Yes.
440, because
Yeah.
mass production of instruments and all
Yeah.
this stuff that I was
Yeah.
reading about. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like that's wild. Like this natural frequency of 432 for so many years stopped because it became a burden from a tuning perspective. So when you kind of look at it, it's like, holy fuck. So have we been losing out on what music is actually,
I
the
think so.
frequency of it?
Its frequencies are able to heal, apparently. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I've read a lot about it. And have you heard of cymatic frequencies?
No.
Or cymatic, what's it called? It's basically like the visual representation of a certain frequency. And it'll give you like a pattern. Like kind of looks like some type of snowflake
Yeah.
or something. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So there's this whole scientific field of study where certain frequencies can kill cancer cells. and they've done it under the microscope. They'll play, like, let's say it's 540, I think is one of them, on these cancerous cells in the microscope. They're being filmed, and you can see the cells break apart, and the cancer cells
react to it.
self-destruct.
It's wild, dude. I don't know any information about that, but what I do know is that there are different frequencies, like you were saying, and certain ones are considered like a natural frequency. Like, so the 432 is like the natural frequency. But then I was reading at 540. I think you had mentioned I'd seen that number, and that it has an impact, supposedly has an impact on certain things, and like all these different frequencies.
I think it's a resonance of the note C. Like
I don't know. I literally was it's for the last like 2 months. That's why it's so funny when you're mentioning that. I was like, fuck, it's literally what I've been reading up on.
I know John Lennon had a song in, I think it was 540, and it was all about love, and he wanted the frequency to heal, because back in the day, these massive old churches that you see around town that look like they're 500 years old, and they look like castle. These churches had bells in them that would resonate at a specific healing frequency, and the shape of the building was a 3D version of that frequency, and it was meant to amplify the frequency. And so it was calculated. It was like a balanced equation of frequency.
That's cool.
Where, because resonance, you know how resonance works, right? You'll have frequencies that resonate, or like, let's say, harmonics on your guitar. Once you hit it in the right spots, like the exact right frequency, it's going to resonate.
Yeah.
So they would build the churches to resonate, to amplify. And you'll see a lot of these churches, they have these round stained glass windows on these massive round windows. The stained glass shape is this cymatic frequency, the 2D image of the frequency.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna now over here. There's so many churches, old churches. Every time I'm gonna go running, I'm just gonna stop and start looking at the fucking churches.
That's me right now. People probably think I'm crazy. I'm always in awe of these buildings. I'm like, just studying them for like 10 minutes, and my wife's like, come on, let's go.
It's like, we're fucking late, move your ass. I'm looking at this fucking church, move it.
But like they could take like a metal plate with sand on it and play a certain frequency,
and it'll move,
and the sand turns into the same cymatic image.
It's wild. I like I said, I just started digging into this information, awesome. And so just cool. To switch to my guitar is just something so basic. When I'm playing on 432, I just feel better. I just feel better. Yeah. Like I sing, but like I was saying, it has an impact. So definitely that was one thing I was even telling Dan.
Yeah, you can feel the difference.
Yeah, I was telling Dan, like, this is fucking great, man. The 432 for me has like changed. I don't want to play on 440 anymore. I'm like, I don't enjoy it as much.
I feel you, man. I enjoy 432 a lot, man. I even did a single for an artist in 432 that was on the radio, and it's like a modern EDM song where I tuned my DAW to 432. All of my my synths, like Serum and everything, I actually tuned it to 432. For Melodyne, where I tuned my vocals, I set it to 432. Everything was done in 432, and the song was amazing. People loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like it gives off this such a good feeling. The resonant, the sound, the frequency. But dude, look, we're gonna close it up. I feel like you and we could stay here for like hours easily. Easily.
If we're not careful, it could go overboard.
I would just like to say, holy fuck, we've been talking for an hour and a half.
An hour and a half, really?
Yeah, man.
Wow. Okay.
But I wanted to leave this space here for you. Like, if people want to connect with you, either for music, for anything, what are the best options? How do you want people to connect with you at the end?
Honestly, for me, it's about good connections, good conversations, enjoying time together. Whoever I work with, that's the goal, is to find like-minded people where we can just sit down, be creative together, have a good time. So if there's anyone out there that wants to reach out, please do.
Instagram, what's the best way to reach out?
Hit me up on Instagram. Yeah. You can go at the Floating Heads with a Z, and you can find us there. Hit up me, hit up Matt, and we're open to hearing music, and send us your stuff, and we're there. We'll be there.
Amazing, man. Dude, right. Mike, this is fucking great, man.
Thank you so much for having me, bro.
Hey, man,
Appreciate
my pleasure.
it.
Dude, this was fucking awesome.
Yeah, man. Great to meet you.